All right, and with that, Kyle Kirkwood also joins us, who led 48 of the 100 laps this afternoon, driving the number 27 Siemens AWS Honda for Andretti Global. First win at Detroit, second win of the season, fourth career win in the NTT IndyCar Series. How big was this for you?
Massive. I mean, a huge day in general for Andretti Global and the 27 crew. You know, we've had a hell of a couple weeks, not gonna lie, and you know, this is an exclamation point on everything that we've done. You know, Andretti's phenomenal at street courses, and it's so good to capitalize on it. I felt pretty robbed of a couple wins here the past couple of years, where I felt like we definitely should have won, and we've had pace on everyone, and finally this year we were able to get it done. Not from lack of challenge either. You know, I had to pass some cars out there. I found myself in the fourth, fifth position, I think, a couple times, and had to claw my way back. So fortunately, we had pace to do so, and hopefully, or fortunately, I made it stick. It was some low percentage moves, if I'm not going to lie, that I made, but you have to at street courses, right? Not any move you make is low percentage. So fortunately, they stuck, and we were able to come home with the win.
You want to talk us through the next to last restart? You got around the 14.
Yeah.
Take the lead.
I mean, we were really good on restarts for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but our pace on restarts was phenomenal, and I knew that I had to get, because of that, I knew I had to get by everyone that was in front of me within the first 5 laps, which I did on the initial start after I got passed by a guy or two, and once again on that restart, and yeah, fortunately it paid off. And you know, the thought process around it was just pick these guys off when opportunities arose, but opportunities came much quicker than I anticipated, and we were able to get them pretty quickly, and then kind of get ourselves back into the lead. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, congratulations to you and the team. Questions? Let's start here in the front row. Bob, you have one? And then Nathan after that. We'll work the room. Thanks.
You said the other day that you don't get too animated, but just what have kind of the last 9 or 10 days been like, as far as highs and lows?
I've gotten every emotion that I've ever had in motorsports across the past 10 days, no doubt about it. You know, we had a phenomenal 500, and you know, I got every emotion in the 500 alone, where we went to the back, we had bad stops at some times, we cycled through, got ourselves back into a good position, had a great car, and had a car that was capable of winning, but just didn't get close enough there at the end. And yeah, obviously drama through the week, and then coming into this weekend where we knew we'd be fast. We were extremely fast, kind of threw it away a little bit in qualifying, but then get some of that positivity back, or all of it, I should say, back to here today, and put an exclamation point on everything that has happened. So that's motor racing for you. You get all the emotions, you get the highs, you get the lows, and that's what we live for. We live for the highs, but we also enjoy the lows when you look back at it, because it makes the highs even that much sweeter.
And it's the first podium since Mid-Ohio 2020 where all 3 drivers are U.S. born. Does that matter?
Yeah, I mean, we have one of the most diverse series in the world, I think, and it's good to have the U.S. back on top. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool actually. I'm stoked with that, and I mean, hats off to Santino. That was crazy. I mean, they played their cards right. They got up front, and they ultimately didn't have the pace, but they were able to keep themselves. I mean, I respect him a lot for what they did. But yeah, I mean, yeah, all three young guys and Americans, pretty cool stuff.
Nathan.
Alex Palou crashes out in 25th, and yet we still don't have a new winner on the season. You still are the only driver that's been able to win a race.
Fine with that.
Yeah, I imagine you probably would be happy to keep that trend going. How important in your title pursuits was it to capitalize in the way that you did today, and on a day when he has a pretty terrible one?
Super important, but we got to keep doing it, right? Like, still, I mean, we saw it. He can skip out on still a handful of more races and be absolutely fine. You know, this race sometimes brings out the best and worst of some people, and unfortunately, he I don't know exactly what happened to him, but unfortunately for him, he ended up in a wall. But it actually helps us a lot in the championship. Puts us, we're not really still in the hunt, I wouldn't say. I can imagine. I don't know what the points actually are, but it at least gives you like a taste of like, oh, maybe we can claw back at this. which is pretty cool. So I don't know where we end up in the championship now. I know we were, I think, 5th coming into this weekend, and now we're 2nd.
You're
Yes.
102 points back right now.
102, yeah, that's still a mile away, but it puts you back in a position where you feel like you might be able to get that back. But I'm sure we're going to go to road courses, and Polo's going to do his thing, so see what happens.
Kind of in that same vein, Bob mentioned it a little bit. Losing, in this championship battle, not only did you, lose a solid Indy 500 finish, dropping 24 points, I think is what it was when you dropped from 6th to, was it 32nd for the 500?
Yeah.
How have you dealt with, internally with the team, just the frustrations of that? Clearly, team and you both capitalized this weekend and put it behind you.
I mean, fortunately for me, I just drive the car, and we immediately, even after the 500, immediately that night we focus on what is ahead and how do we do things like we did today, and I think that pays off, right? That's one of our strong suits, that we're able to put things behind us very, very quickly and focus on what's in front of us. And I'm thankful for the team for that mindset, and it paid off here this weekend.
Last one from me, you referenced it. You feel like these road courses that are coming up, Road America, Mid-Ohio in particular, that I think Alex has won on in recent years, the last couple of years, those are probably maybe places that you feel like you guys are really going to have to come and bring something to him to keep him from running away with this any more than he already has.
A little bit, not as much as like Barb or Indy GP Thermal, because that's where he's been dominant in previous years. So fortunately, we're through some of those races with him. But yeah, Mid-Ohio, Road America, Laguna, places like that, we know he's strong, but we also know that we're strong too, and we've had a lot of success there in previous years. We just got to get back to our winning ways there, because we can't let him win any more races.
Thanks.
Wolfgang.
Kyle, over here.
Yep.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
2 questions. Colton said earlier when he was here, the track was very difficult, bumpy with 26 cars around. Are you sharing his opinion? And question number 2, watching the race on television at the media center, your front wing was flubbering. Did it affect your handling, or you was not feeling that everything was strange with the car behavior, driving behavior?
I guess you 2 questions there. First, yeah, the track is very hard to drive. That's the nature of street courses. And somebody answer that. Somebody's calling you. I'll get back to what I was saying. Yeah, the track's very difficult to drive. It's obviously very bumpy. It, like I said earlier to them over here, I said it brings out the worst in you, and it brought out the worst in me yesterday in qualifying. Right, it's pretty rare for me to make mistakes and hit the wall anywhere else other than street courses. So. Yeah, it's that was a tough one, and it's because the track's so hard to drive, but I actually appreciate it in that sense. It brings out it really allows you to capitalize when you take more risk, or it is a tougher track to drive, and there is a lot more reward for the risk that you take. And then your question about the front wing,
Man, Wolfgang.
yeah, just answer it now. I'm just kidding. I'll answer it. The front wing, I clipped the back of Kiffin. I don't know if it was the bumps that made him like slightly move over. I was too close to him though, to be honest. I was just popping a little bit too tight to him, and either the bumps pushed me into him or him into me. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It wasn't his fault at all. But yeah, broke the front main plane, or the left front main plane, and it really didn't affect the car at all though. I think our performance was still really good. I might have picked up a little bit of understeer from it, and probably lost some downforce, but it wasn't enough to really affect the car.
But it was looking very dramatically.
I'm sure, but it didn't really affect the actual performance.
Could you see it from your cockpit?
Barely,
Yeah.
ever so slightly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wolfgang, go figure out who's calling you. I'm worried about this now. Okay. Tony.
It's important, whatever it is.
Right.
So.
A couple real quick. He's Kyle Allen's Jr., the king of the streets. You're kind of taking over that. What about street course racing fits your style? Obviously, having a good car is a lot to do with it, but your driving style and the way you've been able to win here and other street courses as well.
I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could take whatever that was and bring it to other places. Obviously, the cars are really good here. I got to put a lot back on Andretti because they've always been really good at all the street courses that we go to. That's where we tend to be dominant, and those are the places that we got to make sure that Alex doesn't win at. And even though he won at St. Pete earlier this year at a street course, but I wish I knew why or how it translate or if it does translate to other places, because this is weekends like this is what we need to win a championship.
It's a new look car. A couple new sponsors that came on since Indy.
Mhm.
That's got to be big as well. Talk about that and like having eyes on Andretti. And then if you can, real quick, just recap the start of the race. Colton said he kind of bunched everybody up to make sure that they were a little bit slower going into that initial first turn.
I don't know what you're talking about in the initial on the very start.
First start, yeah.
Yeah, so we answer your first question. Yeah, we obviously brought Siemens and AWS on for this weekend, and they're most of their personnel in the U.S. are based here in Detroit, although their headquarters are not here. They're out of actually Plano, Texas, but most of the executives and a lot of people were here. So actually the top portion of that garage right across from pit lane was primarily Siemens people, and this is a big win for them. Big win for them being at a semi-home to them, and obviously a big win considering that they just came on board for the 500, which they've been running. They've been with the team forever. They've been on our mirrors for 28 years, I think it was, right, Michelle? Does that sound about right? 28 years? Yeah, so they're one of the longest running sponsors on our team, so it was great to have them in this capacity as a primary sponsor and get a win with them, of course. And then your question about the start. Yeah, Colton broke slightly early, and Lundgaard broke very, very late. And it's kind of worked out for him a little bit, but I got kind of boxed out on the outside. And fortunately, I didn't push it too hard because I actually would have collided with Lundgaard. So it was a hectic start, but yeah, by every point of view. But we got through it unscathed, barely.
Mike, Lewis, we got a microphone? And then we got time for
Straight back to by Wolfgang, pardon me, baby boomer here with all this stuff. You had over 40 seconds of push to pass left at the end of the race. Everybody behind you had nothing. So number one, what was Brian telling you, and what does he have to tell his son tonight?
I'll be honest. I think Colton was somewhat robbed of a win here today. He's done everything right this weekend. He got the pole. He led the beginning portion of that race, and then he just got caught out on cold tires. Siegel actually kind of dove bomb him into turn 4 and almost put him into the wall and put him in a really bad spot, and I was able to sneak by him in that situation. But if it wasn't for that, he probably would have won the race, so that was unfortunate for him. So, I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. He's doing everything right. I still look up to him. He's still the guy that I'm always trying to catch up to, if I'm being honest. Of course, we have had a couple of wins here, but he's doing everything right. They just need some stars need to align for him a little bit better. And I'm sorry, you had another question.
Yeah, I'm just chagrined that his dad is your strategist.
Yeah, and of course that was strategy within the team. They wanted Brian to come on, but it's funny. Brian actually wants to beat his son a lot of times, and Colton's very solidified in this series. Of course, Brian wants to see his son win, but he also wants to see the car that he's on win. And there's no conflict of interest whatsoever in the sense of that.
Thanks.
Young lady in the back, go ahead.
My name's Jalea, and my question is, when you were around like lap 60, 67, you were in first place, but then you had lost first place for a couple of laps. Did you ever lose doubt that you weren't going to get back in first place?
Yes, in simple ways, of course. You never want to see yourself lose positions because somebody got lucky on something, and that's exactly what happened for the 3 guys that were in front of me. Is it 3 or 4 drivers? 3, I think. And it was Santino, Kiffin and Armstrong that were right there in front of me, and of course I was like, man, this probably just ruined our race here, and fortunately it didn't. Fortunately, we were able to get back by them, but we had to pass cars, which is a hard thing to do in IndyCar. We haven't seen a lot of that on street courses and road courses, and today we saw the most passing that we've seen all season. So I'm sure that was big for us as a series, big for Fox, right? We're coming off the 500 with over 8 million at its peak, 7 million viewers at one time, and then this weekend is usually a big weekend for Fox, coming off the 500, and we had one of the best races of the year, I thought. So fortunate for that. Sorry, I'm sidetracking now, but yes, I did lose doubt at some point. It went away though when I started passing cars, and we were able to get ourselves back in the lead. Thank you for the question.
Tucker, go ahead.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. So Kyle, with 22 to go, you make it with a damaged wing. You overtake Santino Ferrucci for the lead, like in a moment that SportsCenter top 10 moments are made of. What was your thought process to that whole thing?
We had pace on him, so I just played my cards right. I had to overtake kind of everyone in different manners. So it was all in the same place, but it all felt a little bit different in a way. Yeah, the Armstrong pass, I actually popped early on him to kind of put him in a spot that he couldn't defend, and that worked out really well. I went around the outside of David. We were one of the most trim cars out there, which did help in that situation here today. I think David was max downforce and we were trimmed a little bit, and it made it a little bit easier for us to pass. I don't know where Santino was on downforce, but he was also easy to get around in the straight and then kind of get back in front of him and defend going down into turn 3. Pretty simple passes, if I'm being honest, in street course form. Not much of a lunge. I had a lot of big lunges early on in the race because I was pretty upset that I lost positions on the start, but they all worked out.
And I don't know, you had a chance to look at your car after the race, but how bad ultimately was the damage?
It wasn't bad. Yeah, I think Wolfgang asked that a couple minutes ago. It wasn't bad at all. It broke the front wing, but fortunately, in a place like this, downforce isn't everything because you're going so slow. So a front wing damage isn't that big of a deal.
We've got time for one more, maybe two. Maybe 3. Okay, go ahead.
Kyle,
Yes.
you were talking about some of those big sends and low percentage moves, but you had the pace all weekend. I mean, you qualified 3rd with a broken toe link, right? So, talk about how much confidence you drove with this weekend.
A lot. Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of confidence, and anything less than a win would have been a disappointment for me this weekend. And I was doing everything in my power to make sure that we got that win, and I was disappointed with qualifying with the pace. You never want. It's rare that you get weekends like this in IndyCar where you feel like you have a car that is 100% capable of winning in every situation that you have, and you don't want them to go to waste. And I made sure that was not the case here today.
Let's go Nathan, Dave, right in front of you. Let's go Nathan, and then we'll finish up in the back row there. Go ahead.
Well, just kind of a little bit of a procedural follow-up question. So when we have a crash like Alex Palou had, on your radio, is Brian telling you who crashed? So do you know that did you know at the time that Palou had crashed out, or were you not aware of that until the end of the race?
No, I knew it. He didn't tell me, but I knew it. I shouldn't be smiling thinking that, but yeah, I mean, I knew that he crashed, and I knew that we needed to capitalize on some points today, given the outcome for him. I don't know what happened with him, and I feel bad for him, but this also does help us a lot with the points.
So he was tapped from behind by Malukas.
Was he?
Happened. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
4 was penalized.
I'm not going to comment. Did he?
Yeah.
It's so easy to do here, especially if you're on throttle and you're just shoving the guy through the corner like Will did to me. So. I'm sure it wasn't like that. But.
So I guess you kind of touched on it there. So that registers in your mind when you're in the race. Okay, Palou's out. I'm up toward the front. I need to. I mean, even more than you already are, make sure that we don't lose the chance that we have ahead of us right now.
I completely blanked out on what you just said.
I was clarifying. You said you hinted that registered in your mind that Alex had crashed out of the race at that point, and it was something that at least crossed your mind that you needed to focus in that much more to make sure that this was the result.
It didn't change the focus whatsoever. I was still like, I need to win this race. But at the same time, I knew that we were also anywhere that we ended up kind of front, that we were going to have a good points day, and it was going to help us out a lot. And also the guys I was racing against aren't as close to the championship, like Lundgaard, Pato, Felix, like they weren't up there, and I saw Felix. I hope that they're okay. I don't know what actually happened there. That's good. Yeah, so I knew we were gonna have a good points day, which I wanted to keep it clean because of that, but I also was like, I gotta win this race. So.
All right, we got time for two more, then we'll wrap it up. One here, and then Chris after that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard that with Colton.
Yeah, thank you. Roy Akers, Skyview Sports.
Back to the left, Kyle.
Here you go, Kyle.
Sorry. There you go.
Just curious, would you think drivers or yourself might entertain if there was like a playoffs in IndyCar where?
No way. Don't
no
even
way.
ask.
You just want total points.
Yes, 100%. Don't. Yeah, please don't ask that.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Chris, wrap us up.
Kyle, you went from, or everybody went from.
Sorry, I don't see you.
Over here.
Oh, right, sorry.
Okay.
Barber to Indy GP, Indy 500 qualifying, 500 now here. How are you going to spend your off week?
I'm gonna go home. Gonna go back to Florida. Be a little bit warmer than here. Go see my house. Make sure it's still there. I think there's like a storm coming next week, so I'll probably hunker down and watch a hurricane hit us or something. Maybe get on my boat for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I just want to get home. It's been a long month. It's been a long month for everyone probably here in this room. And thank you for what you guys all do. And obviously thank you to the team. But like you said, now we got an off week, and I hope everyone can go out there and enjoy as much as possible. I know I will.
NBA Finals prediction?
Pacers, obviously. What about my Panthers too?
Yeah, Panthers, NHL. Yeah,
they're gonna win. They're gonna win. I got them at 5, but I know Colton said 6. I think it might be a little bit quicker than that.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Pacers, at least I said.
Maybe 5 or a sweep. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweep.
Thanks to all the volunteers here. You guys have been great, and congratulations on another victory, win number 2 this year.
Thank you.
Pal. Appreciate it.
you guys.
Thank you. Hey.